let's talk about what's happening in New York, because this guy, this judge he's a piece of work. He obviously cannot stand Donald Trump and is not afraid to show it. So this is the case. Do you want to explain it, Dave? It's basically the state attorney general going after the Trump organization and Trump, saying he and in particular his two sons, overstated the Trump company assets in order to get bank loans at more favorable rates than he would have gotten if he had valued the assets of his company more accurately. But no one's claiming he didn't pay the loans back or that the banks somehow got screwed. The banks aren't complaining. So Trump all along has been saying, no, there's no victim. What he tweeted out or truthed out was, there's no victim except me, except me. Because, he's losing this case. This judge hates him. So this is wrapping up now. How do you see this case going?
It's pretty much over already, Megyn, because the Judge Engoron, ruled via summary judgment that the fraud occurred. He's liable. Now this is more about damages than about whether he did it. There are some other measures that they're going to have to deal with, but for the most part, this case has already been decided. It's just how bad it's going to be for Trump. And now this week, Trump's children are going to have to start testifying. And this really bothers Trump deeply because his business is himself. This is something he cares about more than, you could even say, the criminal cases, because this strikes at the heart of who he is. And so that's why he shows up to court and he lashes out against this judge, which is really not a smart move because the judge is the decision maker. There's no jury here. And the reason why there's no jury is because Trump's own lawyer, Alina Habba, didn't check the box for a jury trial. So he has only his own team to blame for it. But in the end, I think it's going to go poorly for Trump. I think he'll probably get fined the maximum amount, $250 million. This is about inflating the value of your assets, including, by the way, his apartment in New York. It's one thing to say, hey, it's a rounding error, or hey, we're just estimating it wrong. Well, when you're estimating your apartment being 3 times the size of the actual size, that's fraud. So that's what they're saying. You can't do this to get bigger bank loans. You can't do this to get bigger insurance policies, and at the same time deflating your property values like they've done with Mar-a-Lago to get better tax rates. Because for Mar-a-Lago, they estimated their property is worth between 18 and 28 million. And the judge used that figure, and it so upset Trump. And Trump was pissed off at the judge for it. But then the judge was like, hey, I'm basing my estimate on your own figures that you gave to the Palm Beach County property appraiser. So this is why he's on trial. And I think it's going to be a negative ruling for him when the damages verdict comes out.
I think we're going to reach another point of agreement here, Mike. Do you also predict it's going to be a negative ruling for Donald Trump by this judge?
Of course it is, but I think I need to correct a couple of things. I don't think that there's not a jury trial because Alina Habba didn't check the box. I think this is a New York civil enforcement matter by the Attorney General's office where there's not an option for a jury, which is a head scratcher to me because that seems to violate the 7th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution because this Tish James is seeking $250 million in damages. I don't know how you can seek $250 million in damages and not have a jury under the 7th Amendment to the Constitution. And also on the valuation of Mar-a-Lago, you know this better than anyone. You're down there, Dave, but I thought that there is a law that the property assessment can't go up more than a certain percentage each year. And that's why Mar-a-Lago under the assessor's value is like $18 million. But as you know, a tennis court at Mar-a-Lago is worth more than $18 million. The property down there is extremely expensive. You have prime real estate on the intercoastal waterway to the ocean. I think that to say that that's only worth $18 million in this fraud case is silly. There's a difference between how your property is assessed by the tax collector and what you pay for property taxes versus what it's actually worth.
How about that, Dave?
Yes, well, there's a deed restriction on Mar-a-Lago. So you can't build high rises there. You're limited to how you can use the property. It has to be used as a social club, which is why you wouldn't get $1.5 billion on the open market for it. But point taken that it's definitely worth more than $28 million. That is a beautiful property. But the reason why it's valued at $28 million, it's because Trump in 2020, his representatives asked the property appraiser's office to keep it at that amount. They wanted that lower figure because they could pay less in taxes. And so now when Trump is bashing Judge Engoron for using that figure, I think that he's hoist by his own petard, to use a Shakespearean phrase from Hamlet. It's that's a figure that he agreed with. And that's why he's on trial there, is because on one side, he's saying, look how little the properties are worth for tax purposes, but look how much they're worth to get bank loans. And the fact that no one was hurt is really not a matter, because in New York, you don't have to have a victim to be charged with fraud. And besides, you could actually
that I've had to say is an absurdity. Like the as a lifelong New York Stater, that law needs to change. It's absurd, but it's on the books and it's enforceable. And that's what the voters of New York have chosen. And Letitia James is an AG who's a true blue Democrat who would love to get Trump, promised to get Trump as she was running for office a couple times. And so this is where we are. I mean, she has the right to go after him because the law is what it is, Mike. And it looks to me like Judge Engoron, who already gave Trump a defeat in the summary judgment motion in large part, is now going to give him a second blow when he finds against him at the end of this case. However, Trump is scoring some points. I actually do think it's not totally foolhardy of him to go out there and criticize this judge who's already, the cake is baked. He knows. He has no chance of persuading him. But what happened with Michael Cohen on the stand this week was kind of interesting. And I heard both sides arguing about Michael Cohen. But when I saw that Tish James came out and said, well, he's not our star witness, then I knew exactly how badly it had gone for her, right? Like, you don't have the AG saying things like that unless it went terribly for her. So Michael Cohen, do you want to tell us what happened, Mike, or would you like me to summarize it?
You may want to summarize it.
Okay, so here's what happened. Michael Cohen, who is Trump's former fixer, was like his consigliere because he was more than a lawyer. He was like, I don't know, his henchman. I mean, he would just do whatever Trump wanted him to do. He took the stand. But this is a guy who's already a convicted felon. He's served time. And so that's never ideal for any prosecutor or any lawyer bringing this guy to the stand. And in this case, AG Letitia James and her people, I'm sure, weren't too thrilled about Michael Cohen's status as a convicted felon. So he gets up there and takes the stand. And he tries to say first, I have it in front of me, stand by, that Trump had asked him to increase the total assets based on a number that Trump arbitrarily chose. Like, you got to get my assets up so I can get this bank loan. Then on Wednesday, last week, he gave combative testimony in the face of cross-examination after he had implicated Trump, as I just stated, saying he told me to increase the assets. And he said, again, that Trump had directed him to reverse engineer financial statements to increase his net worth. So same, Tuesday and Wednesday, he's going after Trump saying he's a bad guy. He told me to do bad stuff. Then Trump attorney Alina Habak pressed Cohen about earlier testimony he had given that contradicted those two statements. In particular, he gave sworn testimony in 2019 in front of Congress. And when he was asked whether Trump at that time had directed him to inflate numbers for Trump's personal statements, he said, not that I recall, no. Then Alina Habak, Trump's lawyer, said, oh, well, that doesn't seem entirely consistent with what you just told this court on Tuesday and Wednesday. And Trump admitted that he had been lying in his testimony back in 2019 before Congress. Oh, it's a record scratch. All right, already, this is bad. Letitia James is sitting in the pews thinking, my God, no, with the rest of the audience. She's not actually trying the case. After lunch, another Trump attorney pressed Cohen further on that deceitful congressional testimony. And Cohen, over the lunch break, changed his testimony, now saying that earlier testimony actually was not false. And then Trump's lawyer said, so Mr. Trump never asked you to inflate the numbers on his financial statement. And Cohen's now answer was correct. So he's going with, first he says he told me to do it. Then they say, you didn't say that at your 2019 congressional testimony. Then he says, well, I was lying then. Then he comes back on the stand and says, actually, I was lying just when I said I was lying then because actually he never did tell me to do it. I mean, it's this guy, he can't even keep his lies straight. And that is what led Trump to abruptly leave the courtroom and declare victory outside the courtroom, saying the witness just admitted that we won the trial, that he never asked me to do any of this, that he did it. And, no one's going to trust Michael Cohen. That's when Letitia James came out and said, oh, he's not our main witness. He's not our main witness. But the judge did not strike Cohen's testimony. The judge did not rule in Trump's favor on this point, Mike, because he said there's a mountain of evidence that supports the idea that you, like a mob boss, didn't have to give the order directly. You could do it with your eyes. You could do it with a wave of a hand. I'm giving this judge a better accent than he actually has. And when they asked for a verdict in their favor, he said, absolutely denied. So what do you make of Michael Cohen's role, his recurring role, frankly, in Trump's legal troubles, Mike?
I think Michael Cohen may have realized that, oh crap, the statute of limitations is like 5 years for perjury to Congress. And this is 2019 testimony. We're in 2023. Crap, I could be charged for perjury to Congress. So maybe I should fix that. So I think Michael Cohen's testimony was disastrous for Tish James.
The brand new Genucel 3 is finally here. It can make your bags and puffiness disappear, along with dark circles, fine lines, crow's feet, and firm up your eye contour area. And for the longevity of your skin, this is the first Genucel to provide instant hydrating minerals, so it feels just like a facial at the spa. The new Genucel 3 is included in the Genucel Fall Classics package at a crazy introductory discount. It includes Genucel jawline treatment for a firmer neck and jawline. You get the classic Genucel XV anti-wrinkle moisturizer and the vitamin C deep firming serum. It's like a free spa treatment every day. If you don't look 10 years younger and get compliments everywhere you go, you get your money back. So go to Genucel.com/MK60 for deep discounts on this amazing fall package, or just call 800-SKIN-211 now. And for results in 12 hours or less, Genucel's immediate effects product is included in this package free. Get ready now for your Thanksgiving get-together. Go to Genucel.com/MK60 now or call 800-SKIN-211, GENUCEL.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.